You're muted again.
That happened. Sorry about that. Good afternoon. The Board of Adjustment is now in session. My name is Anthony Robinson, and I will be chairing today's meeting. Attending today's virtual meeting are board members Irene Saul, Mona Parsley, Mel DeSimone, and Joe Klitzing. Also in attendance for the city is Evan Winkler, Community Development Planner for the city, who will represent the city in the cases we are hearing today. Our attorney for the board is Archer Mellon, and Drea Gutierrez, lead zoning specialist. Our court reporter is Colin Wallace. We will be hearing 5 cases. First, we will hear from the city's representative, who will explain why the permit could not be issued. Next, we will hear from the applicant and/or their representative of the project. Then we will hear from those in favor of the appeal, and then from those opposed. Please be concise, as the testimony will be limited to 3 minutes per person. When you come online via video or telephone, please wait to be sworn in by the court reporter. Then please state your name and mailing address. To ensure proper records for our court reporter, we ask that those online or on the telephone to please remain on mute. Following testimony, on all of today's cases, the board will go into its deliberative portion of the hearing, at which time we will vote on all cases heard. The board will notify each applicant and/or their representative of its decision by mail in about 2 weeks. You are welcome to remain on during the deliberations. However, we will not hear additional testimony at that time. You may also call the lead zoning specialist, Drea, tomorrow at 314-622-3666 to learn the outcome of your appeal. Again, the number is 314-622-3666. Drea, will you please read appeal number 20574?
Appeal number 20574, 701 Bates Street, Unit 2F.
Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do. Good afternoon, board members. My name is Evan Winkler, Community Development Planner for the City of St. Louis, and I'll be representing the Building Commissioner. I'm here to present evidence of an appeal to operate a recording studio at 701 Bates Street, Unit 2F. I'd like to present as evidence for this case photos and aerials of the said property, plans for the project, and a certified copy of the City of St. Louis zoning ordinance. The basis for denial of Mixing Boutique LLC doing business as Mixing Boutique concerning the Building Commissioner's refusal to issue an occupancy permit authorizing the petitioner to operate a studio at 701 Bates Street in City Block number 2850 is as follows. The present zoning for this address is A, single-family dwelling district. The intent of the applicable zoning provisions are to conserve the values of property throughout the city of St. Louis and protect the character and stability of residential, business, and industrial areas. It's also to regulate and restrict the location and use of buildings, structures, and land for trade, industry, residence, and other uses, and to regulate and restrict the intensity of such uses. The applicable zoning code provisions are section 26.16.010, uses are prohibited. No structure or land shall be used for use other than those permitted in the district in which such premises are located, unless such use is permitted by other provisions of the zoning code. Also, section 26.20.020S, use regulations and conditional use summary, section 26.20.020 and/or 26.20.025, use regulations and conditional uses of the A single-family dwelling district do not allow the appellant's proposal as stated above. Evidence of lawful nonconformity is not being presented. In summary, the applicant is applying to operate an audio recording studio, and it's located in the A single-family dwelling district. Recording studios are not a permitted use in the A district. Therefore, a use variance would be required prior to approval. The City Planning and Urban Design Agency states that there's no adopted neighborhood plan that covers this area. However, the 2005 Strategic Land Use Plan calls this area a neighborhood preservation area and the granting of variances in keeping with the intent of this areas to promote corner commercial uses that are physically integrated with and primarily serving the immediate neighborhood. And then the 2025 Strategic Land Use Plan calls this area a medium intensity neighborhood. And the granting of a variance would be in keeping with this designation's intent to support a mix of uses, including some types of commercial activities at the end of blocks. Therefore, planning staff finds the request of appeal number 20574 is in keeping with the city's comprehensive plan. And then we did receive an exhibit after they had already been sent to the board. So I'm going to read that into the record. This is from Dutchtown Main Streets, dated May 14th, 2025. Reply, the Mixing Boutique, 701 Bates. Dear St. Louis Board of Adjustment and Zoning Division, Dutchtown Main Street is the City of St. Louis's first affiliated Main Street district, operating in alignment with the city's Economic Justice Action Plan and the Graboid Jefferson Historic Neighborhood Plan. We support equitable neighborhood development by fostering opportunity, attracting inclusive investment, and promoting commercial activation across Dutchtown. We write in support of the Mixing Boutique and audio production studio located at 701 Bates Street, as it seeks a conditional use permit to operate at this location. That's not actually correct, but just to point that out. The studio, run by Tim Hansen, is a professional sound mitigated production facility specializing in music and commercial audio projects for a diverse clientele from St. Louis and beyond. The Mixing Boutique contributes to Dutchtown's vision as a vibrant creative community. The facility is located on the second floor, benefiting from both natural sound insulation and professional acoustic treatment, ensuring operations pose no disruption to neighbors or adjacent properties. The business attracts regional creative talent and provides space for artistic production, aligning with Dutchtown's cultural entrepreneurial energy. Mr. Hansen has actively communicated with nearby neighbors and secured a letter of support from Alderman Shane Cohn. He has further demonstrated good faith by making his contact information available should any concerns arise. Dutchtown Main Streets is proud to support entrepreneurs who strengthen our neighborhood through responsible business ownership. We respectfully request that the Board of Adjustment approve the conditional use permit for the Mixing Boutique at 701 Bates Street. Sincerely, Latasha Smith, President of Dutchtown Main Streets. And again, just to clarify, there might be some confusion on their part, but this is actually a use variance that stays with the land, not a conditional use permit. Are there any questions from the board?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Did it say something about sound barriers or something like that?
So their letter does say that they are, it says Tim Hansen is a professional sound mitigated production facility specializing in music and commercial audio projects.
Okay, so I didn't think I
Yeah, you
heard
can ask Tim what that means exactly.
Okay, thank you so much.
Right. Oh, it looks like Mr. Robinson dropped off his connection. Mr. Klitzing, do you mind taking over? We do still have a quorum.
I have no problem with that.
All right, thank you, sir.
Is there anyone here? Mr. Hansen, would you like to be sworn in and testify?
Yes, please.
Sir, can you raise your right hands? You solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, help you God?
So help me God. In outer space where you're at.
Would you state your name and address, please, for the record?
My name is Timothy Hansen. I reside at 7073 Foxcroft Drive in St. Louis County, 63123. And my business is the Mixing Boutique at 701 Bates Street, second floor. That's St. Louis 63111.
Okay. What would be your hours of operation?
Um, Technically, I can be here 24 hours a day. I'm not usually. I'm usually done with business by around 11 p.m. Um, uh, and definitely not recording anything in terms of like drums or electric guitars or anything like that past 11 p.m. Sometimes I do stay late and do mixing work. And as the letter that was read is indicated, and as you might be able to see, I have a lot of unique acoustical implements in my studio, which help the sound not resonate out of the building, but also helps me, keep a focused, you know, center of sound and all of that stuff. The other rooms that we record in are treated as well. And being up on the second floor, it's really not noticeable at the street level at all. I've only got one residential building that neighbors the building that I'm in, and all of our use rooms are on the opposite side of the building from the side that faces their building. And we've done several acoustic tests. I wanted to make sure we weren't going to be disturbing people. So we've turned things up as loud as they'll go, and we've kind of walked around and see, how far it'll radiate and stuff. And it's cars that drive by with their windows down and their stereo up are about 5 times louder than what comes out of the building. So pretty sound.
Okay, but you never gave me a time that you start in the morning or the days of the week that you
Well,
will be.
I'm available for booking 24 hours a day. So the typical starting point in the day for me, usually I start working around noon. But I can be here as early as 10 a.m. I take care of my children in the morning, so I'm not here early. And like I said, I'll usually work until about 10 o'clock in the evening. Sometimes I'm here later, but not typically.
Okay, one of the things we put down is your hours of operation. If
Sure.
you want 24 hours a day, tell us you want 24 hours a day.
Yeah,
You
and
want
that's what
10
we
in the
list.
morning.
That's what we list online with Google and all of that stuff that we're available 24 hours a day.
Okay. Um, and the design of your studio keeps the sound inside, right?
Yes, sir. Yes. And we've done a lot too in terms of building, like not destroying the building to make that happen. I still have windows in my studio. We've got our great South City double windows over the fireplace and all of that stuff. We tried to do everything in a manner where we weren't hacking up the building and blocking everything off and putting up concrete over stuff. It's a lot more warm and welcoming, keeping the building how it is. So that's what we did.
Okay. I'll note that Anthony is back and I'm going to hand it over.
Thanks, Joe. Do any board members have any questions for the appellant?
How many employees does he have?
It's just me. Occasionally,
Just you.
yeah,
Oh.
occasionally I'll have a couple of interns that come and sit in with me. But in terms of people actually taking work and doing sessions, it's just me. I'm from Columbia, Missouri originally, and I own another recording studio in Columbia. And I bounce back and forth between the two cities. And I do have employees at my other studio in Columbia. But here in St. Louis, it's just me.
Okay.
Any other board members? Okay, thank you, Mr. Hanson. Is there anyone here to testify in favor of this appeal? Okay, is there anyone here to testify in opposition of this appeal? Okay, hearing none, I will read into the record exhibits. Certified copy of the zoning ordinance, appeal to the board, basis of denial, meeting notice letter, City Journal public notices, photographs, Sanborn maps, memo from Planning and Urban Design, a letter of support from Alderman Shane Cohn, and a letter of support from Kyla Odeshum, President Carondelet Neighborhood Association. And with that, I will consider this appeal having been heard. Drea, can you read appeal? I'm sorry.
This is Irene. You
Yes.
didn't include the Dutchtown Main Street people, their support.
The letter I read, you're right, Irene. And a letter of support from Dutchtown Main Street.
Yeah.
And we shall include that.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Irene.
Okay.
Drea, can you read appeal number 20575?
Appeal number 20575, 5633 South Kings Highway Boulevard.
Oh, do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do. Again, my name is Evan Winkler, Community Development Planner for the City of St. Louis, and I'll be representing the Building Commission. I'm here to present evidence of an appeal to operate a full drink, sit-down, carry-out restaurant, no outside seating at 5633 South Kings Highway Boulevard. I'd like to present as evidence for this case photos and aerials of the said property, plans for the project, and a certified copy of the City of St. Louis zoning ordinance. The basis for denial of Las Canachitas restaurant concerning the building commissioner's refusal to issue an occupancy permit authorizing the petitioner to operate a restaurant at 5633 South Kings Highway Boulevard in city block number 5830.00 is as follows. The present zoning for this address is A, single family dwelling district. The intent of the applicable zoning provisions are to conserve the values of property throughout the city of St. Louis and protect the character and stability of residential, business, and industrial areas. It's also to prohibit locations and uses of buildings or structures and uses of land that are incompatible with the type of development plan for specified zoning districts in the city. The applicable zoning code provisions are section 26.16.010 uses prohibited. No structure or land shall be used for use other than those permitted in the district in which such premises are located, unless such use is permitted by other provisions of the zoning code. And then also 26.20.020 use regulations and conditional summary, which includes section 26.20.020 and or 26.20.025. The use regulations and conditional uses of the A single family dwelling district do not allow the appellant's proposal as stated above, and evidence of lawful nonconformity has not been presented. In summary, the applicant is applying for an occupancy permit to operate a full drink, carry-out, and sit-down restaurant with no outside seating in the A district. Restaurants are not a permitted use in the A district, and therefore a use variance is required prior to approval. The City of St. Louis Planning and Urban Design Agency states that there is no adopted neighborhood plan covering this location. The 2005 Strategic Land Use Plan, though, calls this a neighborhood preservation area, and that the granting of a variance is in keeping with the intent to promote an appropriate mix of neighborhood serving commercial uses, especially at corners and along larger streets. And then the 2025 Strategic Land Use Plan calls this a medium intensity neighborhood. And the granting of a variance would be in keeping with this designation's intent to support a mix of uses, including appropriately sized bars and restaurants that serve the immediate neighborhood. Therefore, planning staff finds the request of appeal number 20575 is in keeping with the city's comprehensive plan. And then we also received an email of support after exhibits were sent out. This is from Derek Nooner, the president of Princeton Heights Neighborhood Association. On May 13th, he stated, my name is Derek Nooner, and I'm the president of the Princeton Heights Neighborhood Association. I am writing in regards to the above hearing scheduled for tomorrow. I see a deadline of noon today to submit documentation to this case. Our organization has been quickly reviewing the circumstances, and we are hoping you can provide insight into why the occupancy permit was denied. We would like to support the growth of small business in our neighborhood, but we also want to do our due diligence. And then this morning, Wednesday, May 14, 2025 at 7:39, He states, can this email serve as support for this appeal? They have been good neighbors and I believe already have a liquor license, as does the restaurant next door. Sincerely, Derek. Are there any questions from the board?
Okay, let's hear from the appellant.
Diana is here with, I believe she said her daughter as an interpreter, so we'll have them both be sworn in.
Okay. Ms. Peraza, can you unmute? Okay.
Hola, mi nombre es Diani Peraza.
Hello, my name is Diane Peraza. Diane.
Soy dueña del restaurante.
Diana, we have to have you sworn in first.
Uno minuto.
Tiene que decir,
Can I have you both raise your right hands?
levante la mano.
Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, help you God?
Yes. Yes. I'm gonna say the truth, nothing to say.
Okay. Now can you state your name and mailing address for the record?
Te diga su nombre. Hola, mi nombre es Diani Peraza.
Hello, my name is Diane Peraza.
Soy la dueña del restaurante Las Catrachitas.
I'm the owner of the restaurant Las Catrachitas.
Tengo 5 años.
The 5639 South Kent Highway.
5 years, 5 años.
I've been here for 5 years. The restaurant be opened, and we just do an extension to 5633 South Kent
South.
Highway.
Okay. Any additional testimony?
¿Algún adicional, un testimonio que quiera decir? Un testimonio que quiera decir que ha sido un buen...
Primero le doy gracias a Dios
I just want to say thanks God for everything.
que me dieron la oportunidad de poder hacer mi sueño realidad.
To say thanks to the neighborhood to being doing really good with me.
Abrir un pequeño restaurante.
To be an open a small business.
Y hoy quiero expandirlo un poco más.
And today I just want to expand to a little bit more bigger.
Para poder generar empleos, no sé, le doy gracias a Dios.
I just want to say thanks God for everything I have. I have 3-4 employees working with me, and that's all I can say.
Okay. Any board members have any questions?
How many, there's no drawings on the restaurant. How many patrons will you have?
¿Cuántas personas se pueden sentar en un restaurante? ¿Cuántos asientos? ¿Cuántas mesas?
En el primero,
En todo.
en todos, unas 64 personas, 60, 64.
60 people, 60.
Okay, is there any parking with this building?
¿Tiene parqueo el lugar?
Sí tiene,
Yes,
enfrente.
in front.
How many spaces are dedicated to the restaurant, to this restaurant?
¿Cuántos espacios tiene dedicado al restaurante? ¿Cuántos espacios de parqueo? 4, creo.
4.
4.
Okay. Evan, there aren't any drawings on this thing? On this project?
There's not. It's an occupancy permit. So
Okay.
And then what happens in the A district, because it's not a permitted use, it doesn't address parking for uses that are not permitted, right? So in essence, it's a use variance that covers any kind of potential lack of, quote unquote, lack of parking.
Okay. What would be your hours of operation?
¿Cuáles son sus horas de abrir?
De 10 a 10:30.
10 a.m. to 10:30 p.m.
Okay. Will there be any outside patio or anything like that? Or is there?
No, va a tener el patio afuera.
No.
No,
Do you have a commercial dumpster?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Do you have a commercial dumpster?
Tiene basurero. Yes.
Sí.
Okay, would you object to putting a trash container outside the entry door?
Yeah.
Sí.
Tú te pones toda la basura afuera. Yes.
Okay. That's basically what I've got. I'll turn it over to everybody else then.
Joe, did you ask how many days a week?
No, I didn't. How many days a week would you be open?
¿Cuántos días?
¿Cuántos días a la semana va a estar abierto?
6 días.
6 days.
Closed on Sunday?
¿Cierra el domingo? No.
No.
Tuesday.
Tuesday, okay. Thanks for reminding me, Mel. That's all I got.
Any other board members have any questions? Gracias, Ms. Peraza. Okay, is there anyone here to testify in favor of this appeal?
That Bridget, are you here to testify in favor? Okay, I just saw you. Okay.
Evan, are there any standard conditions for this project type thing?
There are standard, and I can read those. I was actually looking for their current occupancy permit to see if they already have some conditions. What is the address, Ms. Perez, of your current location?
¿Cuál es la dirección?
56, 39,
5639
56, 33,
to 5633
South Kings Highway.
South Kent Highway,
6309.
63109.
I'll read the standard and then I'll look up those other ones for deliberation. But the restaurant, these are standard conditions that the board can consider putting on a variance for restaurants with dine-in. Number one is that the hours of operation shall be limited to what you testified here, and that no person shall be on the premises after a certain time period. Number two is that the petitioner must obtain the proper permits from the City of St. Louis Building Division for any proposed signage at the location. Number three is the petitioner shall provide a commercial dumpster and establish a trash removal contract through a private source for regular pickups and maintain the entire premises in a clean and orderly appearance at all times. Number four, the petitioner shall provide a refuse container on the exterior of the premises for use by the customers and shall be emptied on a daily basis or more if needed. If another container is needed due to the level of business, it shall also be provided. Number five is that the facility shall not have any cord or rope type LED lighting surrounding or framing its windows and doors. Number six is not applicable because it relates to liquor. Number seven is that no cooking, selling, or seating on the exterior of the building. Number eight is that the petitioner must obtain and maintain a City of St. Louis business license prior to operation. And number nine is that the premises shall not be issued a public nuisance notice pursuant to Ordinance 68535 or its successor ordinances.
Does Ms. Peraza have any issues with what Evan just mentioned?
¿Tiene algún tipo de petición para todo lo que ellos han dicho?
No, no.
Okay. Let's see. So is there anyone here to testify in opposition of this appeal? Okay, well, with that, I will then read into the record exhibits, certified copy of the zoning ordinance, appeal to the board, basis of denial, meeting notice letter, city journal public notices, photographs, Sanborn maps, memo from planning and urban design, and a letter of support from Alderman Tom Oldenburg. And with that, I will consider this appeal having been heard.
With the
And an email of
email.
support.
I'm sorry.
Well, I was just going to say an email of support from the president of Princeton Heights Neighborhood Association.
And we shall include that as well.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Drea, can you read appeal number 11935?
Appeal number 11935, 4045 Magnolia Avenue.
Oh, do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do. Again, my name is Evan Winkler, Community Development Planner for the City of St. Louis, and I'll be representing the Building Commissioner. I'm here to present evidence of an appeal to construct exterior alterations per plan zoning only at 4045 Magnolia Avenue. I'd like to present as evidence for this case, photos and aerials of the said property, plans for the project, and a certified copy of the City of St. Louis zoning ordinance. The basis for denial of Bridget B. Cadle Architect, LLC, care of Bridget Cadle, concerning the building commissioner's refusal to issue a building permit, authorizing the petitioner to construct exterior alterations per plans, zoning only at 4045 Magnolia Avenue in city block number 4924.06 is as follows. The present zoning for this address is Zone A, Single Family Dwelling District. The intent of the applicable zoning provisions are to fix reasonable standards to which buildings and structures shall conform. The applicable zoning code provisions are section 26.16.060, discontinuing a nonconforming use. In the event a nonconforming use of any structure or premises is discontinued or its normal operation stopped for a period of 1 year, the use of the same thereafter shall conform to the regulations of the district in which it is located. Section 26.16.065 is changes in a nonconforming residential building. A nonconforming residential building may be repaired, renovated, rehabilitated, restored, reconstructed, or otherwise altered, except that such repair or other alterations shall not create additional nonconformity or increase the degree of existing nonconformity of all or any part of such building, and further except that no nonconformity element may be added to a building or grounds, that such was not an original element of the building if it was not an element of the building at the time of the permit application. Also, section 26.20.030, parking for multiple dwellings. Dwelling shall provide space in the main building, in an accessory building, or on the lot occupied by the main building, sufficient to accommodate one motor car for each dwelling unit. Also, section 26.20.070, side yard. There shall be provided a side yard of not less than 4 feet in width on each side of the building, and the total width of both side yards shall not be less than 10 feet. Provided, however, that lots of record prior to the effective date of this zoning code having a width of less than 40 feet may be reduced to a total side yard width by an amount equal to 1/2 the distance between the width of such lot and 40 feet. But in no case shall either side yard be less than 3 feet in width. And then also section 26.20.080 rear yard, there shall be a rear yard of not less than 25 feet in depth. Evidence of lawful nonconformity has not been presented. In summary, the applicant is applying for a building permit to make an addition to an existing nonconforming single-family dwelling located in the A district. The proposed addition introduces additional nonconformities to and now must meet the requirements of the A single-family dwelling district, which is why they're here today. Therefore, an area variance would be required for lack of parking, which did not previously exist and is still not being proposed. There's an additional area variance required for the side yard setback along the west property line. The requirement would need to be a 6-foot side yard setback, but is proposed at 2 feet because they have 4 feet on the other side. And then a third area variance is required for the rear yard setback, which is required to be 25 feet, and they're proposing a 4-foot rear yard. The City of St. Louis Plan Urban Design Agency states that there's no adopted neighborhood plan covering this area. The 2005 Strategic Land Use Plan calls this a neighborhood preservation area, and that the granting of variance is in keeping with the neighborhood preservation area's intent to promote quality rehabilitation that is sensitive to the character of existing residences. And then the 2025 Strategic Land Use Plan calls this a medium intensity neighborhood. And the granting of a variance would be in keeping with this designation's intent of supporting many types of housing options. Therefore, planning staff finds that the request of appeal number 11935 is in keeping with the city's comprehensive plan. Are there any questions from the board?
Okay, let's hear from the appellant. Ms. Keitel, let's get you sworn in.
Oh, ma'am, can you raise your right hands? Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay, then state your name and mailing address for the record.
My name is Bridget Bogan Keitel. My address is 911 Newport Avenue, Webster Groves, Missouri, 63119. And I'm the architect for Mike Deal and Alice Benga, the residents of 4045 Magnolia Avenue.
Okay, go ahead with your testimony.
Okay, so just starting off with the property has never had a rear parking spot and not feasible given a 2-foot retaining wall at the back of the property line adjoining the alley. There's really not room for a parking spot at all. In terms of the setbacks, the shape of the lot presents a hardship to build any type of addition. The existing house was built in 1916. And the lot is 42 feet wide. The rear of the house is located 26 feet 2 inches from the back property line. And so the 25-foot rear setback requirement presents a practical difficulty, limiting the owner's options for an addition because building up is not feasible. At the side yard, west side, the house is currently 2'9" from the property line. And to maximize the clear space on the east side of the proposed addition and to maintain current access to the alley, the 1-story structure is proposed to be 2 feet from the west property line. And this falls within the roof line of the original house. So it would all be within what that vertical line is currently indicated. So Stephanie Herbert from the Shaw Neighborhood Improvement Association noted in her letter dated May 10th that their parcel is on a block that is an example of how early use developments in the neighborhood focused on maximizing the land use. While parcels along Magnolia are fairly deep, the lots on the 4,000 block of Magnolia were divided several years after the development to add the addition of Magnolia Place. While this added more homes to the neighborhood, it resulted in homes on Magnolia and Magnolia Place with small lots and side yards. So the owners have lived in this home for over 30 years and are integral members of the Shaw neighborhood. And currently all the bedrooms and the full bathroom are located on the second floor, making future accessibility a hardship. Carving out a bedroom and an ADA restroom on the first floor is physically impossible without greatly impacting on the interior architectural integrity, as the existing first floor has a defined formal foyer, front room, dining room, and kitchen, all with historic detailing in place. So the proposed addition is to have a new fully accessible ADA restroom and to initially serve as a family room with the ability to be switched into a bedroom when the time arises. And so the deck is configured to accept a ramp if it's needed in the future. Any questions?
Has this design gone before cultural resources?
It was submitted for a zoning only permit.
Okay. Any board members have any questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone here to testify in favor of this appeal?
We will speak just a few seconds, if that's okay, for the homeowners.
Sure, let's get you sworn in.
Okay.
Can I have you both raise your right hands? Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
I do.
This is Alice Benga, Benga. I'm at 4045 Magnolia Avenue. My husband is Mike Diehl, Diehl. As Bridget stated, we've lived here for 30 years. We want to stay in our neighborhood. We're very much involved in our neighborhood, our parish, the park that's across the street, and we'd like to age in place. That was the primary reason for us to develop a plan with Bridget to try to minimize the impact, but enable us to stay where we are. We do have the support of our neighbors. I believe that the building people will say that that will be read into the record. Our neighbors on all sides have supported us. Our neighborhood association, Shaw Neighborhood, also has written a letter of support, as has our alderwoman, Daniela Velazquez. And we also have a letter of support from Sean Spencer, the executive director of the Tower Grove Community Development Corporation. All of our neighbors would like to have us stay here. We want to stay here. We do have several buildings along our alley that butt up right to the alley, which we've sent pictures in that show that it's not like there's big gaps between the back of houses and the alley on any homes on our block. So we just are asking that you please consider this so that we can stay in our home. Thank you.
And my only fact that I'd like to add is that virtually 100% of the garages in the alley on either side of the alley are currently closer to the alley border than what our addition would be.
Excuse me, Evan, he needs to be sworn in.
He was, Drea.
Okay.
Colin did it a little bit unusual, but he was sworn in at the same time.
So anyway, we would not be impeding on the alley side, and the same thing with the west side. Virtually all the garages on our alley are literally on the property line, and we wouldn't be quite that close. So that's it. We'd like to stay in the neighborhood. We would appreciate your support on our appeal.
Thank you.
Thank you. I got the same question I asked your architect, Ms. Benga. Has this gone before Cultural Resources Office?
It has not yet.
Okay.
If it needs to, we'd be more than happy to do that, but it has not.
It does. I actually, and just for your information, probably would have been better to start at cultural resources because it's a local historic district. That doesn't cost you anything, obviously, to come here. Requires that you pay, but if it's not approved at cultural resources and then has to go before the historic preservation board, so there are a number of requirements probably before you came here, but we will hear this. Any board members have any questions? Okay, is there anyone else here in favor of this appeal? All right, is there anyone here in opposition to this appeal? Hearing none, I will read into the record exhibits. Certified copy of the zoning ordinance, appeal to the board, basis of denial, meeting notice letter, City Journal public notices, photographs, Sanborn maps, memo from Planning and Urban Design, email letter of support from Tom and Susan Hibden, letter of support from Daniel Crawford, 8 photos submitted by petitioner, a letter of support from Ernest Reed, a letter of support from Alderwoman Danielle Velasquez, a letter of support from Sean Spencer, Executive Director, Tower Grove Community Development Corporation, and a letter of support from Stephanie Herbers, Shaw Neighborhood Improvement Association. And with that, I will consider this appeal having been heard. Drea, can you read appeal number 11936?
Appeal number 11936, 4258 Schiller Place.
Oh, do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Oh, I have to go first, all right?
No, sorry, I apologize.
All right. All right, again, my name is Evan Winkler, Community Development Planner for the City of St. Louis, and I'll be representing the Building Commissioner. I'm here to present evidence of an appeal to make interior and exterior alterations per plans at 4258 Schiller Place. I'd like to present as evidence for this case photos and aerials of the said property, plans for the project, and a certified copy of the City of St. Louis zoning ordinance. The basis for denial of Queen of Macaron LLC, care of Seed Music, concerning the Building Commissioner's refusal to issue a building permit, authorizing the petitioner to make interior and exterior alterations per plans at 4258 Schiller Place in City Block number 6264.00 is as follows. The present zoning for this address is Zone A, Single Family Dwelling District. The intent of the applicable zoning provisions are to fix reasonable standards to which buildings and structures shall conform. The applicable zoning code provisions are section 26.16.010, uses prohibited. No structure or land shall be used for use other than those permitted in the district in which such premises are located, unless such use is permitted by other provisions of the zoning code. Also, section 26.20.020 and or section 26.20.025. Use regulations and conditional uses of the A single-family dwelling district do not allow this appellant's proposal stated above. Evidence of lawful nonconformity has not been presented. In summary, the applicant's applying for a building permit to make interior and exterior alterations for a bakery on the ground floor of an existing 2-story building in the A single-family dwelling district. Bakeries are actually not a permitted use in the A district, therefore a use variance is required prior to approval. The City of St. Louis Planning and Urban Design Agency states that there's no adopted neighborhood plan covering this location. The 2005 Strategic Land Use Plan calls this area a neighborhood preservation area. And the intent is to promote corner commercial development that's physically integrated with and primarily serving the immediate neighborhood. And therefore, a variance is in keeping with the neighborhood preservation area. The 2025 strategic land use plan calls this a medium intensity neighborhood. And the granting of variance would be in keeping with the designation's intent to support limited types of commercial activities and activities including smaller restaurants and bakeries, especially at corners. Therefore, planning staff finds the request of appeal number 11936 is in keeping with the city's comprehensive plan. Are there any questions from the board?
Okay. Mona.
Is this the building that used to have Circus Taco in it?
I don't know that. I thought it
Yes.
looked like. Okay.
Okay, I just want to make sure. I didn't get a chance to drive by that one. I just double checking. Thank you.
All right. Let's hear from the appellant.
Ma'am, can you raise your right hands? You solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
All right. Can you state your name and mailing address for the record?
Hi, everyone, and thank you for hearing my request today. My name is Hanan, and I'm here requesting a permit for different variants in order to open my small bakery at the 4258 Schiller Place. This will be actually a micro bakery, like a small one. There will be no dining. It will be like designed to retail only. There will be no sittings.
Hanan?
Yes?
Did you give us your last name and mailing address? So I'm familiar with.
Oh, sorry. Yes, Hanan Aituflan. I live in 8820 Valcourt Avenue, St. Louis, Missouri 63123.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Go ahead.
As I said, this will be a bakery specializing in French macarons. It will be a retail only with no dining or sittings or self-service areas. And all our production will take place in a small closed kitchen in the back of the building or of the space. The previous tenant operated as a full service restaurant at this location. And compared to that, my bakery will have much smaller footprint in terms of noise and traffic and general activity. So we will not be open like 7 days or anything. We will be open 4 days a week and sometimes just 1 or 2. It depends because I do a lot of festivals. It depends on what day the festivals are. And we're thinking to be open between 8:30 until 3 or 4 p.m. And any questions?
What days of week would you want to be open, like the maximum number? Which Monday through Sunday, and then you pick which days?
It probably will be like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, or Friday in between like weekdays, because I do markets over the weekends, and mainly the festivals and events will be over the weekends as well.
So we're going to put days of the week listed on you, and then you're going to be stuck with whatever we write down. And if you want to change it, you're going to have to come back. So give us the moon here.
Oh, okay. So it'll be Monday, Tuesday, from Monday till Thursday.
Are you sure? Never going to be open on Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, ever?
No.
You're going to do festivals. You're going to be in there to work, so just do 7 days.
Yes, because some of my festivals are 3 days that are Friday, Saturday, and Sundays.
So do 7 days a week.
All right, so we're going to give you 7 days a week. What hours? 8:30 to 5? 8 to 5?
Correct.
Okay, 8 to 5.
Yes.
You're not going to
So
cook
when you
it.
say, okay, I have a question. I'm sorry. So when you say you give me 7 days a week, what does that mean?
It means you can be open 7 days a week. Your
Oh,
choice.
okay. Okay.
All right,
So what's
now-
happening right now, Hanan, is that they're trying to distinguish They will have to deliberate on whether to grant this variances, but variances almost always are given conditions. And so some of the conditions are often like you are only permitted to be open a certain number of days and a certain number of hours. So they're trying to help you out here. And
Yeah, because I wasn't
like,
sure what that means. That's why.
right, when will be the maximum that you would need to use the space? And so if you have to be in there 7 days a week, you should just say 7 days a week from 8 to 5.
Right. Yeah, as I said, like mainly I do events and festivals, which are like over the weekend, but the rest of the week I will be preparing, of course, open. But down the road, if I hire somebody, of course, I would love to be open like over the weekend as well, while I do my festivals and markets.
Now, I have another question. So when you're in there, you might not be open retail, but you might be cooking or baking or doing your thing. So
I'm preparing,
what time-
correct.
Exactly. So what time does that start?
Usually like
5 a.m.?
Around 5, 6 a.m. until probably 5 p.m. or so.
Okay, so we would say something along the lines of baking, preparing starts at 5 a.m. and retail hours start at 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Correct.
Okay. And then operation hours are 5 a.m. to 10 p.m.
Correct.
Okay, just trying to get this right for you. And you're going to have a commercial dumpster, correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, any other questions? I'm not sure.
Are you going to have a sign?
I'm sorry, what was that, Mona?
Is she going to have a sign?
So what kind of sign do you mean?
Like a sign that has the name of your business on it.
Yes, yes, of course.
So you're going to get a permit for that. Okay.
Okay.
And you can call down and talk to the zoning office about that if you need assistance, or just call a sign company. They'll walk you through that as well. Okay.
Okay.
Please give us a call. The A district's pretty restrictive on signage, so we can talk you through that.
Evan will
Yeah,
help.
I'm sure, I mean, the constructor, whoever we will be hiring will be taking care of all of that.
Just make sure you get a permit for it. We
Yes,
don't want
of
you
course.
in trouble. Yes, ma'am. Okay.
Thank you.
Do you have any employees?
For now, it's going to be just me, but once I open, of course, I will need help. So probably it's going to be like one more person.
I have one other question. What's the name of this business?
The Queen of Macaron, because we specialize just on macarons, French macarons.
Gotcha. Thank you.
You're welcome.
If the other board members have any questions? Okay, thanks, Hannah. Is there anyone here to testify in favor of this appeal? Alderwoman. Let's
Thank
get
you.
you.
Do I need to be sworn in?
This afternoon. Let's get you sworn in.
Okay.
Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay, and then if you could state your name and mailing address for the record.
Sure. Alderwoman Ann Schweitzer at 4063 Haven Street, St. Louis, Missouri, 63116. I'm very supportive of this business. We're really looking forward to it in the Bevo area. Hanan came to the Bevo neighborhood meeting and spoke to people, and they're all really excited about it too. I know I submitted a letter of support, and I hope the Bevo neighborhood did too. I know they voted that evening in support, and we're just really hoping that they're able to open. That vacant building on the corner isn't helping anybody out, so we'd really like to see it filled with a great business like this one. And that's all I have to say, but I appreciate your time and your hope to get your favorable consideration today. So thank you so much for your time.
Any board members have any questions for the Alderwoman? Okay, is there anyone else here to testify in favor of this appeal? All right, is there anyone here to testify in opposition to this appeal? Hearing none, I will read into the record exhibits, certified copy of the zoning ordinance, appeal to the board, basis of denial, meeting notice letter, City Journal public notices, photographs, Sanborn maps, memo from planning and urban design, an owner's statement for building permit hold issued by zoning hold, letter of support from Ann Schweitzer, letter of support from David Talent, President Bevo Mill Neighborhood Association, and a letter of support from Steve Butts, State Representative, District 81. And with that, I will consider this appeal having been heard. Drea, can you read appeal number 20548?
Appeal number 20548, 5400 Union Boulevard.
Do you solemnly swear the testimony about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I
I
do.
do. Oh, Franchette, it's me first, but I do.
Oh, I'm sorry. How you guys doing?
Good. All right, my name is Evan Winkler, Community Development Planner for the City of St. Louis, and I'll be representing the Building Commissioner. I'm here to present evidence of an appeal to operate a church at 5400 Union Boulevard, continued from September 25th, 2024. I'd like to present as evidence for this case, photos and aerials of the said property, plans for the project, and a certified copy of the City of St. Louis zoning ordinance. The basis for denial of HK Events and Banquet Hall LLC, doing business as HK Church, concerning the building commissioner's refusal to issue an occupancy permit, authorizing the petitioner to operate a church at 5400 Union Boulevard in city block number 5081.00 is as follows. The present zoning for this address is F, Neighborhood Commercial District. The intent of the applicable zoning provisions are to lessen or avoid congestion in the public streets and highways in the city of St. Louis and surrounding areas. Applicable zoning code provisions are section 26.20.040C, parking for places of assembly. An arena, auditorium, meeting room, or other structure used principally as a place of assembly shall provide parking space within 1,000 feet of the main building or structure sufficient to accommodate C, which says any church shall provide parking space sufficient to accommodate one parking space for every 4 seats. 1 seat equals 2 feet or bench of pew length, and evidence of lawful nonconformity has not been presented. This case, like I mentioned, was originally heard on September 25th. At that time, Board Member Klitzing made a motion to table appeal number 20548 for up to 60 days to allow the petitioner to provide the hours of operation and to provide a parking resolution. Board Member Hitt seconded the motion, and the motion was passed by unanimous vote of the board. And the hearing was rescheduled for a later date, which is today. But in summary, the applicant is applying to operate a church on the first floor of an existing 2-story structure that's located in the F district. While churches are permitted use, they do require off-street parking at a rate of 1 space for every 4 seats. The occupancy limit was set at 45 people, which would require 12 spaces. However, no parking is being provided. Therefore, an area variance is required prior to approval. The City of St. Louis Planning and Urban Design Agency says that there's no adopted neighborhood plan covering this area. The 2005 Strategic Land Use Plan called this a neighborhood commercial area. And the neighborhood commercial area describes where the development of new and the rehabilitation of existing commercial uses that primarily serve adjacent neighborhoods should be encouraged. While the granting of variance is not necessarily in keeping with the neighborhood commercial area's intent, it's also not in conflict. And then the 2025 Strategic Land Use Plan calls this a lower intensity corridor, and the granting of variance would be in keeping with the designation's intent of supporting institutions like schools and religious buildings. Therefore, planning staff finds the request of appeal number 20548 is not in conflict with the city's comprehensive plan. Are there any questions from the board?
Hey, let's hear from the appellant. Now that would be you, Ms. Swopes. And you're muted.
How about now?
You're good now. Let's get you sworn in.
How you guys doing? Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Okay. My name is Franchette Swopes. I'm the owner of
Hold on, Ms. Swopes. Let's get you sworn in.
Okay, I'm ready.
Can you raise your right hand, ma'am? Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Now state your name and mailing address.
My name is Franchette Swopes. I reside at 6115 Veta Place, St. Louis, Missouri, 63120.
All right. Now go ahead with your testimony.
Hi, everyone doing? I'm the owner of HK's Events and Banquet Hall, doing business as HK's Church. As you were stating earlier in regards to the parking, I did my due diligence and was told that and looked into 5415 and 5417 will be the lots that the church participants will park on. I sent that information into the board maybe like a month or so ago. We're looking to operate a church out of 5400 Union, 7 days a week, 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Franchette, we
I'm
don't
sorry, I'm
have,
at work, so that's why you're hearing everything in the background. I'm at work.
you said something about a month ago. We haven't received anything. Do you know who you sent it to, or could you send it to us again?
Yes, I have to go to the emails, and yes, I sent it to zoning because I was doing all communicating with zoning in regards to the parking spots. Andrea or something like that. I can't remember her name specifically, but yeah, I sent everything to her. She told me about the meeting on today and make sure I'm there, and she had everything she needed.
Okay. Well, it's not listed as an exhibit, so I put my email in the or in the chat box.
Okay.
If after you're done giving testimony, you could send it, that would be appreciated.
Will do.
What was the address of the lot or the area where you were going to be parking at? I didn't catch that. I apologize.
You're fine. 5415 and 5417 Union Boulevard.
And are you renting that space or do you own it?
Well, that space was owned by the church previously, so after reaching out to my real estate agent, she's doing investigation in regards to it. After speaking to the owner that sold me the church, he vouched that the parking was at the 5415 and the 5417.
How so did he vouch for that? So do you own that now, or what's the situation?
Well, he said it's owned by the church, and by me owning the church, I do, but I'm waiting for him to get back to me in regards to something in writing and paperwork. Once I reached out down to City Hall, they basically said the same thing that he said, that it's owned by 5400 Union, and it had me down as the owner of 5400 Union. And that was far as I got in regards to that, and just waiting on him, the previous pastor, to give me reach back out to me in regards to the documents, if there is any.
So you didn't look it up on the city tax record or anything to see who the owner is?
Yes, we looked it up under the city tax, and that's where we got that it was owned by 5400 Union, which was the church, which is the building that I own, now.
Did you provide those documents to the city?
Yes, everything that I had in regards to that was sent through email via, like I said, I can't remember her name, but she works for zoning, and that's who I was doing all the communicating with for the whole month or so.
All right, and you're
I
sending
got
that
this
back
court date.
again. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Just so folks know, that parcel 5415, 5417 Union Boulevard is in the F Neighborhood Commercial District. It would need an occupancy permit to be operate as a parking lot. And also parking lots in the F district require conditional use approval. So something to keep in mind, Franchette.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
And there's no current variance on that now, Evan?
Well, this is just, I don't have time to do a full review of, so the best approach would be, if the board is considering this, maybe they want to consider a condition that they get an occupancy permit for the parking lot that they're intending to use.
Yes.
I don't know if there's a variance without doing additional research and reviewing an application.
I understand. The applicant, what is the condition of these lots that you're wanting to use as a parking lot? Are they paved at this time, or are they grassy? What's the situation, ma'am?
They're grassed and always kept groomed and cut, and there's actually still the logo from the previous church, which I've changed the name of the church. It still have the old church's name and little different things like that on it, but it's nice and clean and grassed. They keep it up, so the pastor, whoever the pastor has grooming it, they groom it and keep it cut every 2 weeks. So that's how I end up getting to know who owned the lot before doing all my research. I seen someone cutting it because I was interested in buying it. Because my first meeting, they told me that I had to have off-street parking. So I started, looking to buy the lots that were across the street. That's when I ran across the information.
I'm utterly confused. So you own the church, but yet there's a pastor that you don't know that's keeping up the lots that you own.
Yes, and I bought the church through a real estate agent, so she's handling all that, taking care of that. He had an agent, and so did we. We both went through a real estate agent in regards to selling and buying the property.
I get that, but the old pastor is still maintaining the lots.
Yes.
Is he running your church?
No, he sold it. He's no longer doing the church at all.
I understand that, but he's still maintaining the lots, even though he sold it.
Yes, he's still maintaining the lots. If you go past there now, it's nice and groomed and cut, and it stays nice and groomed and cut. I'm not doing it. The pastor's doing it. The old pastor's doing it.
Okay, doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but okay.
Yep. That's who's doing it. Like I said, if you go by there now, it's nice and groomed. It stays nice and groomed.
Is anyone parking on the lots now?
Well, there's a tire shop that's right next to it. So from time to time, there'll be a few cars there because, they all know each other. It's a community thing. They actually was the ones who helped me out in researching all the information that I needed. So from time to time, they have a car there maybe once or twice I've seen over there. But other than that, no one's parking on the lot at all.
Franchette, sorry to interrupt again, but how many spots did you say were available over there?
Well, it's actually from 5415 to 5417. That's the lot size. So just in doing the measurements, give or take, you probably can get about a good 25, 30 cars just from me looking, but I'm not an expert.
And are you aware that if you use this as parking facility, it has to be paved and striped?
No, because it wasn't paved and striped when the previous church used it. So no, I wasn't aware of that.
Right. Yeah. So that's why I mentioned to the board that it would need it to apply for an occupancy permit to review for compliance. And then if in fact it did have 16 spaces, which are required for this use at 5400 Union Boulevard, and if it's in 1,000 feet, it actually would meet the code through a conditional use of that parking lot and wouldn't need a variance. So the board may consider continuing this to allow the applicant to apply for occupancy of this parking lot so that we can review it for any variances or compliance with pavement and striping and the number of parking spaces.
So why wasn't I told that the first time? That way we could have got that situated by the time I came here.
Well, this is the first time we're hearing about this lot.
Well, it's not the first time he's sending it into City Hall in regards to zoning. I don't know why they didn't send it to you guys. I wasn't aware that I needed to send it to you guys because I would have. I was told to send it to zoning. So I sent it to zoning.
So Ms. Swopes, Evan Winkler is with zoning, as is Drea. So
I sent it.
both of them are zoning.
Well, I sent it. And I have evidence that I sent it.
Okay,
I just looking it up as we were just talking. I was looking it up to make sure I sent it.
Okay, so
All right, Mr. Robinson, I found an email that she sent, and she said operation hours will be from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m., allowing for Bible study and in services, church members are requested to park on the street where parking will be available. Thank you in advance, Ms. Swoops. It says nothing about parking lot.
That was the first email. I sent that maybe a month prior to us conversating in regards to the lots. That's the old one.
That's the last email I received from you, and that's dated January 16, 2025 at 9:34 a.m.
I'll make sure I send them to whoever I need to send to. Put the emails in the chat, or whoever I need to send the email that I sent back.
So Ms. Swopes, the email is currently in the chat right now.
Thank you.
If you can send that, that would be helpful.
Thanks. So the Winkler one.
Yes.
Got it. I already wrote it down.
Mona, if you are speaking, you're muted. Yes, go ahead.
So I've looked up 5415 Union Boulevard, and it says the owner of the lot is Christ the Stone Christian Outreach Ministry.
Mm-hmm.
Is that you?
I don't own that ministry, but I own the building that the ministry no longer exists. It is now HK's Events and Banquets, DBA HK's Church. The name has changed, but it used to be that name.
I'm just telling you what the information is online with the city of St. Louis.
Yes, ma'am.
That's who the city shows the owner is of 5415 Union Boulevard.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't show you as the owner.
Well, I bought it and I paid taxes on it. And again, I don't know what it's showing, but whatever I need to send in, I will send it to the email. Because the last thing I heard about this meeting here, that it was a split decision and an occupancy permit was granted. Then I received something else saying I got to come to a whole nother meeting to appeal something I didn't even appeal. So I was a little confused by everything anyway. So I attended the meeting just because, it was sent to me, but I was confused of why I had to attend the appeal when I already received a letter saying that I was granted the occupancy permit in regards to 5400 Union. And all I needed was they had some stipulations on it, on the letter, the conditional hearing letter or whatnot. Then I received something else stating that I had to come back for an appeal that I didn't appeal for. So I'm confused all around the border in regards to 5400 Union, and it's been an emotional roller coaster for about a year now, maybe a little longer than a year. So I'm a little frustrated in regards to what's going on here. Whatever it is that I need, please let me know what it is that I need so I can get it all together so we don't have to keep doing this. Because, there will be a church at 5400 Union. Whatever it is that I have to do it, I'm going to do it,
I understand. I was trying to give you information as to what the city shows ownership of 5415 Union.
No, I know. I talked to the guy that the face behind what you just said. I spoke with him, so I have that information. I appreciate it.
Evan, can you give some clarity? Why is this before us?
So it needs an area variance for lack of parking. Places of assembly, including churches, are required to provide parking. Churches are required to provide off-street parking at a rate of 1 space for every 4 seats. It can be provided, though, for within 1,000 feet of the use, with evidence of that. And so to date, at least, the zoning office doesn't have evidence of that additional site providing the parking. The other thing about that additional site is that it would need an occupancy permit for parking and a conditional use permit for parking, and it would have to be paved and striped.
Something that should have been told to me before today, and I could have been taking care of that.
So
we were not aware of this additional site until today.
Okay. Okay.
So the appellant gave testimony that she received a letter of approval.
And I'm looking for it too as we're speaking. I got it in a file. So I don't even know who did the appeal because I didn't. Only appeared because I got it. And then, didn't know what was going on. So I just, appeared. But I already received a letter saying that it was a split decision in regards to the decision and it was approved. And then I get something talking about an appeal. But I'm looking for that letter as we speak, and I can read it to you or I can email it to you, whichever way. I have the email address.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that referencing. This is a
just gotta find it.
continuation of the previous appeal to the board. So it was continued previously,
So
which is why we're here today.
that was it September
Correct.
last year? Yeah. So back in September of last year, was there an appeal made?
Yeah, that's why they were at the board the first time.
Okay. And as I recall, it was continued.
Yes.
Okay. Which would be why the appellant is back before us.
Correct.
Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to add to your testimony, Ms. Swopes?
Yes, yeah, again, I'm very confused. I'm looking for the letter. I also want to know who filed the appeals, because I wasn't aware that there were appeals that were filed. Is that something I do or you guys do?
Ms.
Okay,
Swoops,
so
you
Ms.
filed the
Swopes,
appeal.
you would have filed the appeal, and
After getting the letter stating that I was approved for it, I turned around and filed an appeal. But I filed the appeal after getting a letter stating that I was good.
which letter? So you came before this board in September of last year.
Yes, I did.
At that point, so when you came before the board, you filed an appeal at that point.
She filed an appeal prior coming to the board. That's what brought her to
Well,
the
yes,
board
there
in
was
September.
I'm sorry, Jay. There was an appeal filed prior to coming before the board. You came before the board in September of 2024. We continued that hearing. That is why you are here today, because of an appeal that was filed last year, not an appeal that was filed recently.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
I got you.
So there were inspections done and those passed. So I don't know if you received correspondence related to the inspections, but that is different than your occupancy permit and zoning approval.
Okay. So what is it that I need to do in order to get my church open? That's all I need to know. And break it down to me in lane terms so I can understand it this time.
Well, the board will have to deliberate on whether they grant an area variance for parking, meaning you would not need to provide a parking lot.
Okay.
Another possible option would be that they continue it to allow you to apply for occupancy permits at those other two lots that you mentioned, which would be required to be paved and striped. And then they require conditional use approval.
Okay.
And then you would actually meet the requirements of the code. And Then we'd have to bring you back here, though, to close this case out, and the board could vote to dismiss without prejudice.
Okay, so I get to make the decision on which way I want to go?
No, the board makes that decision.
Okay. Thank you.
Any board members have any questions? Okay.
Well, I have one quick question. What are the
Hmm.
hours that you will operate the church?
6 a.m. to 10 p.m.
7 days a week.
Yes, ma'am. 7 days a week.
And do you have a commercial dumpster for the church?
Yes, ma'am.
And will you be changing the name of the church on the signage?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, those are my questions. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Any other board members have any questions? Okay, is there anyone here to testify in favor of this appeal? Is there anyone here to testify in opposition of this appeal?
Hello, everyone. This is Carla Reed. Is it my turn to talk if I have opposition to what's been presented today?
Yes, Ms. Reed, let's get you sworn in.
Okay. So not testify, I just want to give an opinion. Is that different?
You cannot give opinions. You either get sworn in and you testify or you don't.
Okay, swear me in.
Ma'am, do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, state your name and mailing address for the record.
My name is Carla Reed. My mailing address is 4937 Lilburn Avenue, St. Louis, Missouri 63115.
Okay, go ahead with your testimony.
I am Carla Reed, and I serve as the president of the Mark Twain Neighborhood Association, which is the neighborhood in which this business sits within. And I heard you all say before that we currently don't have a neighborhood plan in place, and that is true. However, we are currently in the planning process of that. So because I know those things are coming down the pike and what the community is saying, I will vote against the variance without the proper parking put in place, especially if this is an operation that is going to run every day, all day. I think they need to have adequate parking.
Okay. Any board members have any questions? Thanks, Ms. Reed. Is there anyone else here to testify in opposition of this appeal? Hearing none, I will read into the record exhibits, certified copy of the zoning ordinance, appeal to the board, basis for denial, meeting notice letter, City Journal public notices, photographs, Sanborn maps, a memo from Planning and Urban Design, a copy of proceedings from September 25th, 2024, meeting notice letter from May 14th, 2025, City Journal public notices from May 14th, 2025, photographs from May 14th, 2025, Sanborn maps from May 14th, 2025, and a memo from Planning and Urban Design from May 14th, 2025. And with that, I will consider this appeal having been heard. We did not get any emails as of yet on this, Evan.
Let me double check. Correct. No emails.
Okay. With that, I then consider this appeal having been heard. And this concludes our testimonial portion of the hearing. Thanks, Colin. We will now go into our deliberative portion of the hearing.
Okay, I'm gonna log off. You guys have a good one.
You too. Board members, do we need a 5-minute recess or so? Shall we continue?
I'm good.
Good.
Okay. Start with appeal number 20574, 701 Bates Street.
I don't have a problem with this. They got all the support they need. He's on the second floor. It's a corner storefront. Anybody else?
No, he's going to have enough. He doesn't want outside noise coming in, so inside noise is not going to go out either. So I don't have a problem. I'll second your motion if you make a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve. I wanted to have, yeah.
What about just for safety's sake, putting the no nonsense nuisance?
Oh, I got conditions.
Oh, okay. We didn't get there yet.
I hadn't got there yet.
Okay.
I was just asking questions. Yeah, he needs to either have one of those small rollout dumpsters, or he needs to have an agreement with someone that he has use of a commercial dumpster. And he needs to not become a problem property as we typically word that, please.
Okay.
And then we have some kind of sound thing. Can we put that one on there as well, Evan?
Yeah. Yes.
I called it pixels, but that's not right.
The noise ordinance one.
Yeah, the noise ordinance. I know pixels is not the right terminology.
Decibels.
Decimals. There. Thank you, Mel. Decimals, not pixels. I was like, stupid. No. That's my motion.
I'll still second it.
Thank you, Mel.
Okay. Motion moved by Mona, seconded by Mel. All of those in favor?
Aye.
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 All of those opposed? Motion carries.
Won't
Finding,
be a detriment as conditioned.
I promise to not be a detriment, and I do have a commercial dumpster already at the building. We have one for the
even
lower
better.
level.
Excellent.
Please
Thank
leave
you,
us
Tim.
alone, Mr. Hanson. Everybody wants to get out of here. Can't talk now. Get the heck out.
Bye. Thank you all.
Okay. Appeal number 20575, 5633 South Kings Highway.
I'll take this one. I'd make a motion to approve with the conditions, their hours. What do they have down here?
10 a.m. to 10:30 p.m.
Yeah, 10 a.m. to 10:30 p.m., 7 days a week. Use of a commercial dumpster, which they already have a restaurant down there, so they'll probably just use that one there. So they have to have use of a commercial dumpster and not become our normal stuff for a restaurant, except for the alcohol, and then not to become a nuisance property. I know exactly where they're at. I mean,
Yeah.
I've been to their other restaurants. Great.
I'll second the motion.
Okay. Motion moved by Mel, seconded by Joe. All of those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All of those opposed? Motion carries.
Should not be a detriment as conditioned.
Thank you, Mel. Next up, appeal number 11935, 4045 Magnolia Avenue.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
They've got everybody. I mean, you looked at their thing. They got everybody approved them.
I used to live in that neighborhood. I had a house at the corner of Magnolia and Kings Highway. And yeah, those lots were all screwed up.
Yep.
They're small, they're tight, and everything else. So I understand their problem, dilemma, and I think this is a resolution for them. So I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, moved by Joe, seconded by Mona. All of those in favor?
Aye.
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 All of those opposed? Motion carries. Findings?
Will not be a detriment.
Okay, thanks, Joe. All right. Appeal number 11936, 4258 Schiller Place.
I love that little building and I miss Circus Taco. No. I'll make a motion to approve. Evan, tell me if this is wrong with regard to these hours, because operational hours are 5 a.m. to 10 p.m., 7 days a week. Retail hours are, I'm going to give her 7 days a week. I think she's going to grow at 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Why are we separating the hours?
Because she's a baker. She's coming in early to
No,
bake.
but she can be open from 5 to 10. Doesn't matter. She's
Making 5 to 10, 7 days a week.
Okay. Okay,
Simple.
fine with me.
Otherwise,
I'm
you're
good.
gonna have an enforcement problem when you get, well, was it this or that? Just
Okay.
5 days a week, they're done.
I don't want Evan going out there at 8
7
o'clock
days
to
a
make sure
week.
they start
She's
their
open
baking
7
later.
days a week is my motion.
7 days.
7 days a week, 5 a.m. to 10 p.m. She needs a commercial dumpster. She needs a sign permit. She needs not to become a nuisance property thing that we do. That's my motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion moved by Mona, seconded by Joe. All of those in favor?
Aye.
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 All those opposed? Motion carries. Findings, Mona?
Won't be a detriment as conditioned. Can we have a
Okay.
little chat about this next one? I'm concerned that she doesn't actually own these lots that she's thinking she has parking on because of them not being in her name or her church name. They're still showing up in the other previous church name because I looked both of them up, and it sounds to me like maybe they should have transferred to her, but they didn't include them on the contract, and I see this happen. And now she has someone saying, no, we don't want her not to have parking. So I
So
am
they just said if she's gonna open up, they want her to have parking.
right. So I don't have a problem approving her, but she must provide her 16 parking spots.
So, I mean, that's what the variance is for, though, right? I mean, so if you're
Not
if you're
giving
making,
her the variance because she needs to provide the parking.
right. So if you're doing that, what I'm saying, though, is that she wouldn't be here if she provided the parking.
I
So
understand.
if you want her to provide the parking on that alternative site, you should really continue because we need proof that she has an actual parking lot there. Otherwise, there's no occupancy permit there. People are just parking on random grass. There's no evidence that it's a true parking.
I'll make a motion to continue for up to 90 days or however long it takes to get back on the thing for her to allow her to get her parking lots situation straightened out.
I'll second.
Okay, motion moved by Mel, seconded by Joe. All of those in favor?
Aye.
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 All of those opposed? Motion carries. Meeting minutes.
Minutes. I move to accept the minutes for May 7, 2025, and the proceedings for Appeal 11885 from April 30th, 2025.
I'll second.
Okay, moved by Irene, seconded by Joe.
Aye.
All of those
Aye.
in favor? Aye. All of those opposed? Motion passes. Evan, new business?
No new business. We do have a meeting next week.
Yep.
Make a
And,
motion to adjourn.
and I think we also have, one of those meetings with those people.
It's not on, on the date. It's not one of these days. It's a different day.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a different day, but next week.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
20th. That's my meeting anyways.
Yeah, I think mine is the 20th as well. Okay.
I'll see you there.
Motion to
Adjourn.
Joe
Yeah.
made the motion. I'll second it.
who made the motion?
Joe.
Me.
Joe. Sorry
Aye.
about that, Joe. Moved by Joe, seconded by Mel. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 See you next week, guys.
See you
Thanks,
all next
guys.
week,
Bye-bye.
if not before. See ya.
Evan, I'm going to give you a call.
Okay.